So far, we have established that the course outcome, the teaching and learning activities, as well as the assessment needs to be properly aligned. In the previous videos, we have discussed about the system facilitating the entire process here. There are a series of documents which include the course outline, the teaching plan, the project handouts, the exam moderation form, the capstone project moderation form. All this needs to be well in place before we can proceed with the evaluations of the program. There will be assessment. The assessment includes the progress test, assignment, final exam, presentations, and etc. The data as acquired from the assessment shall be analyzed, and then based on the analysis results, the performance of the course as well as the program shall be evaluated. In these videos, we're going to discuss about the analysis of the results as acquired from the assessment. Now, what is the result analysis? Normally, the analysis of the result is conducted at the end of the semester. It concludes the performance of the students as well as the course. And normally, the analysis is done on the basis of the course outcome. The purpose here is to identify the weaknesses of the courses so that we can come up with the improvement plans to be implemented in the following semesters. You have been introduced with the terminology of assessment and evaluations. The assessment refers to the process of collecting the data regarding the achievements of the students for the rating purposes. The focus of the assessment will be towards the students. These are some examples of the assessment, which include the quiz and test, assignment, final exam, presentations, and others. As for the evaluations, we are looking at the levels of course and the program. This involves reviewing the results as acquired from the assessment. The purpose here is to acquire the quality of delivery and also the assessment in order to continuously improve the course and the program. The examples of the evaluations include CO and PO analysis, course evaluations, improvement plans, as well as the continual quality improvements. In terms of the scopes, the assessment will be narrower, focusing only on the students, deciding whether the students pass or fail, deciding whether the students attain the respective course outcome. But when it comes to the evaluations, we are looking at the broader aspects. We are looking into the operations, delivery, as well as the assessment used in the program and the course. The ultimate goal here is to improve the course and the program. It is not only limited to the students' performance result. The improvement can be from various aspects, including the quality management system. We shall deal with it later. Since all the analysis will be based on the attainments of the course outcome, there must be a definitions for the attainments of the course outcome. Different program and different institutions may do it differently. It is depending on the sensitivity of your assessment as well. And this shows an example in terms of the definitions of the CO attainment. We can look at this at 3 levels: at the student's level, at the course level, and also at the program level. Different levels have different purposes. At the student level, we would like to identify the CO attained and not attained by an individual student. How do we define the attainments of the CO of an individual student? In this case, we set it as at least 40% of the total marks of that particular CO. Remember that in our teaching plan, we have defined how many marks are being allocated to each COs. There will be coursework and there will be final examinations. Once you have identified the marks for the courses, from the exam moderation form, you will identify how many marks go for different COs for the final examinations. Out of the total marks for respective COs, the students need to acquire at least 40% to be considered attaining the respective CO for him or herself. Now, why do we set this as a 40%? This is in line with the passing mark of that entire course. Just that now the CO breaks down those marks, and the 40%, it will be bare minimum for the students to pass the COs. On this basis, all the CO will have to be minimum 40% out of the total marks of each COs. That can give us a confirmations in terms of the passing the course. It is also possible that students do not attain certain CO but perform quite well for the other CO. Now, in terms of the passing or failing the course, the students can still pass the course, but it provides indication that students are weak on certain COs. At least for the individual students, we will know which CO is not attained. Now, the entire analysis, it will be done by the course coordinator or the course lecturer. And then higher up, it will be at the course level. Now, the purpose here is to evaluate the effectiveness of the delivery and the assessment method in attaining all COs. Analyzing the attainments of the CO at the course level gives us an idea whether the delivery is effective, and also give us some indications to see if the assessment methods is appropriate. The requirement, it will be at least 80% of the students taking the course attain the CO. In order to consider that particular CO is well delivered and well assessed, we will require a majority of the students undertaking the course to have passed and attained their COs. Why do we set this as 80%? First, this 80% will have to be representing the majority of the students. It may also be 70%, 75%, 80%, or even 90%, depending on the definitions of the program. Now, this number shouldn't be just any number. Normally, we will start with n number. Let's say we can start with 80%. And then over time, we will need to review this in order to see whether this definition is sensitive enough for us to make relative differences between the CO which are well delivered and the COs which are not well delivered. Normally, when it comes to the improvements, we are looking at the areas which is relatively weak. Let's say we have 3 COs in the course. If the outcome end up all COs are fully attained by the students, or if the outcomes always end up all CO not attained by the students, that may not be the best conditions for the course. Because the purpose here, we want to improve the effectiveness and delivery of the course. When we do not have any standard to be benchmarked, we will need to identify the weakness from within. That means we will need a mechanism to identify which CO is relatively strong and which CO is relatively ineffective. Then we can pay attention on those which are relatively ineffective. The point here is these numbers may not necessarily be something fixed or standardized. Over a certain period, there should be a review so that the analysis later is sensitive enough to differentiate those which are goods and those which are poor. Now in this case, we are talking about at least 80%, which is the majority of the students undertaking the course attain a CO, so that CO is considered attained. As for the CO do not fulfill this, will be considered not attained. Having the comparison with the attained CO and the CO which are not attained, then next semester we shall go for the improvement, how to improve the delivery or the assessment for the COs which are not attained. Based on the results, the action shall be taken by the course coordinator and also CQI coordinator. The course coordinator will analyze and determine the final result in terms of the attainments of the respective CO. Based on the result given by the course coordinator, the CQI coordinator will proceed with the following analysis and bring those data forwards to the program level, which is the next level. The purpose of analyzing at the program level is to evaluate the effectiveness of the curriculum in attaining all the POs. Now, how do we know that the attainments of the POs? This has to go back to the CO and PO mapping, which we have discussed in the early of this module. There will be a series of courses. Each courses will have 3 to 4 COs, and the COs are mapped to respective POs. Based on the mapping here, you will know that how many COs are attained to each POs. Based on the numbers of CO attending to the respective POs, we will require at least 80% of the course outcome attending to that particular POs in order to consider that the students has attained the respective PO. This gives us an idea that the students has acquired the respective graduate attributes, which the POs are designed in order to attain to those graduate attributes. Now, if the percentage of the course outcome attending to that particular POs do not fulfill that 80%, it will be considered not attending to the POs and give us an indication that the students might not have acquired the graduate attributes. Now, why is this 80% here? We are looking at the majority of the course outcome in order to give us higher levels of confidence in terms of the attainments of the program outcome. In terms of the actions, this shall be the responsibility of the CQI coordinator and also the program coordinator. CQI coordinator produce the results in terms of the attainments of the POs, recommend for the solutions, while the program coordinator shall deal with the management and administration parts, particularly in terms of the quality management system. Now, can we have different value of this? The answer is yes. Different universities do it differently. Normally, there are justifications in terms of those values. We do not have specific standards which value it should be used. This is very much dependent in terms of the operations of the program, as well as the sensitivities of your analysis model. The most important thing here is that we want the analysis to have the ability to discriminate those which are better from those which are weaker. If we set the standards too low, you will find that everyone attend the COs and POs. This gives us difficulties to identify the focus of the improvement later. Now, if we set the standards too high, you will find that everyone not fulfilling the requirement, and this is going to be quite frustrating, and it also lose focus in terms of the regions of improvements. So the principle behind here is the definition here need to be set to an adequate level to identify the strengths and the weaknesses where both of them appear in the same time, so that we can improve those which seems to be relatively weak. Over the time, after you've done the improvement, the distributions of the strengths and weaknesses may change. There may be new weaknesses, and what was initially the weakness now become the strength, which is good. You have improved the identified weaknesses. Now, based on the latest conditions, new weaknesses are identified. Then you will focus your improvement plans towards the new weaknesses. The entire model here, it will be meaningful, is that continuously we have the ability to identify the weakness, and we try to do something to improve those weaknesses, and based on the improved outcomes, collectively the entire program improved. That is the main purpose of doing this as a part of the evaluations. Normally, we do not have much arguments in terms of the students' level and also the course level. We have no problem seeing the students attending certain COs while not attending some other COs. Normally, we do not also have problem to have a course having some CO attend while others not attend. But when come to the program level, there are two schools of thoughts. Among the mainstream, they would like to see all the POs attend. Their justifications: not having any CO attend, that means the students produced by the program has the possibility not having the respective graduate attribute. This may compromise the competency and the ability of the students to compete in the engineering society later. This justifications is understandable. However, personally, I agree more with the other school of thoughts. Personally, I do not mind to see if there are any POs within the program not being attended. We do not really need to manipulate the data and result, just for the sake that showing that all the POs are attended, so that we can comfortably release the students into the industry. Because the ultimate gateway to determine whether the students can be released in the industry is based on another result computation system, which in my country we use this CGPA. For the students having the CGPA less than 2.0, they will consider failed and cannot be released into the industry. Now, the evaluations at the program level have nothing to do with the gateway, whether to release the students into the industry. At least this is my personal opinion. On top of this CGPA, I do not need to create another system to retain the students even though the CGPA indicate that the students pass. But because the students do not fulfill certain POs, the students will have to be retained within the university until they fulfill the respective POs. Then they can be discharged into the industry. For whatever courses that the students pass, there is no point, and it is not necessary for us to go through that particular course again just to rectify the PO analysis. This shall lead to a lot of administration burden, and most universities do not do that. Since we are not doing that, and there is no response, even though some PO are found to be not attended, why do we need to make it as a mechanism to decide whether students should be released into the industry? In order to prevent the overlapping part here, the gateway shall be controlled by CGPA. As for the analysis in terms of the attainments of the PO, to me it is meant for continual quality improvements. I feel this is more meaningful, especially when you identify some POs are well attended while some others are not attended. Then you can skew your programs towards trying to rectify and to improve in order to increase the chances of attaining the POs. As long as we design our entire curriculum fulfilling all the necessary components and meeting the requirements of the graduate attributes. That should be good enough. It is only we have some POs not attend, then we'll pay more focus onto that. And over time, whenever we identify weaknesses, we improve accordingly. The program becomes better and better. That should be the ultimate goals of this OBE. Now the main point here it would be, these standards and the requirement here is adjustable. Don't adjust it too tight and don't make it too loose. It should be just good enough for you to discriminate those which is good and which is poor. Since you are given the flexibility of adjusting these standards, the ultimate goal here is not for you to manipulate the results so that it looks good, which can easily be done. For example, if you would like to reduce the difficulty here, you can reduce all this percentage here. Then you will see all the students attend all the CO. You will see all the courses attend all the CO. And also you will see that all the PO are being attended. Now what's next? This deviated from the spirit of OBE, of continual quality improvements. If you put the continual quality improvement as the main emphasis, you would like to see some COs are not being attended by the course. You also would like to see some POs not being attended. Then you look into the cause of not attainment. Finding the root cause, you come up with the improvement plan. Through the entire process of identifying the weakness and seeking improvements, over time, the program improves. What you see here, we always emphasizing onto the overtimes. This requires a period. We do not expect that the program improve immediately overnight. This is not possible. Now, if you have luxury in terms of the commitment from the management, as well as the cooperations from the lecturers, then you may have faster pace in terms of the improvements, in terms of the course and the program. Now, if you have difficulty with the commitment and the ability of the management, and probably you have difficulty in getting all the lecturers to be cooperative and committed, you have to ensure that it is improved accordingly and not to stay stagnant. We use longer time in order to exchange with the intended degree of improvements. Because of the conditions of different institutions differ, the rate of improvement changes. The bottom line here, there must be improvement. That's why when come to the OBE, if we don't do it properly, we cannot observe the improvement. Without proper improvements, the graduate produced by the program may not be competitive enough. This shall bring impacts to the reputations of the universities and probably the employability of the graduates, and eventually it will bring impacts to the enrollments of the program as well. The last point on this is that our focus of the discussions is not the percentage defining the attainments of the CO and POs. We are talking about how do we make sense of the results, and the purpose is actually for the improvements of the program and the course. You can have any value depending on your conditions and justifications.